In this video, we are going to go over the art of backtesting. So the question is, what is backtesting? Backtesting is where you go back in time on a chart or within an asset and you test your strategy. One of the most powerful things you can do is backtesting, because when you test your strategy, you can start to learn how successful your strategy is. And it can give you the confidence in your strategy by understanding over time how your strategy should work. Because technical analysis basically tells us that things happen repeatedly over time. So if you're using backtesting to test your strategy and it happens over and over and over again, the odds are it's going to start to happen again in the future. Okay, so that's really backtesting. It's going back in time, and using a platform like Tradingview can be very, very useful to backtest your strategy. So you definitely want to have a strategy that you want to test here while you're backtesting, and that will give you an idea on whether or not you want to use that strategy. So first things first is knowing that you have a strategy. And you will then go to the pair that you want to trade. And for this example, we'll just use Bitcoin. And depending on your strategy, you might have different time frames that you look at. You might look at multiple time frames. But we can just keep it simple here and see what we can do, say, on the 4-hour or even the 1-hour chart here. So how do I backtest, right? So what you're going to do is you're going to go into the past at some point in time. I love this replay button. If you can use that, that's great. Otherwise, you can just scroll somewhere back in history and you can find a point that you want to look at. So to make things simple, let's just go ahead and click this replay button. And what we're going to do here is let's go ahead and cut off some data, right? And what you're going to do then is work with this data and see if you can figure out your strategy, or use your strategy as you move data into the future. And the big positive of backtesting is now you don't need to wait. So these are 4-hour candles. If I want to test my strategy in real time, I need to wait 4 hours every single candle. But if I just use backtesting, I now can just create a candle whenever I want by just using this play button or using the forward button. So let's go ahead and just create a simple strategy. Very common things to do is you can mark up your chart, the current price action with support, resistance, trend lines. So let's go ahead and draw some support, resistance, and trend lines and start to see the picture that's playing out. So currently I can see that I've drawn this level of support / resistance, and price came up, Bitcoin came up, and now is starting to trickle down below this. So maybe my strategy is going to be looking for a short on this position. So maybe I want to draw some more structure here. And let's see if we can maybe get a short position if this trend line breaks, right? That's kind of what we're analyzing in the past. And the beautiful thing about the backtesting is I can use up here this forward button to print the next candle. And my strategy might be, if this trend line gets broken, I'll be looking to enter a trade short, maybe to the bottom of this trend line or the bottom of the next structure point. So let's wait until we find that. Maybe we'll get that confirmation, maybe we won't. So I'll click the next button. Okay, look right there. We have a break of this trend line, but it's really not that strong of a break just yet. You know, I'm just adjusting my trend line. Let's go ahead and print another candle. Still not that strong of a break. Let's go ahead and print another candle. Still not fully a break. And keep printing. Okay, so here it looks pretty significant, right? Looks like we did break out of this area. So depending on your strategy, it might be that you take the trade on the close of the break. You might take a retest. But let's just go ahead, for simplicity's sake, say we'll do a short position, I'll grab my short tool. I will enter on the close of this candle that's clearly breaking out of this trend line, and then maybe I can start marking up where I would typically place my stop loss and my take profits. So let's just mark up some areas here. Maybe our first take profit is going to be here at this first test of the trend line, and maybe our second take profit is going to be at this second point on the trend line. And let's see here. So now we've created a short position. Our strategy in short might be looking for confluence, break of structure. You might have a more specific strategy, but we're just keeping this very simple. So we have a failure to break above this major structure, and we are now breaking back below and officially broke below this trend line. Now you might have other points to your strategy. You might want a certain risk to reward. Maybe your risk to reward is at least 1 to 1, or maybe it's 1.5 to 1, or maybe it's even 2 to 1. Maybe you really have a tight stop loss here. So say that we make sure that we have a 2 to 1, and now we can see whether this plays out here. And we can just use the replay button, press forward. So far so good. All right, we officially got a greater break. Pushing down, didn't quite make it, and boom. Right there, we've hit our first take profit level. Great, so far in our backtesting strategy, it looks like this trade is playing out just right. Let's keep going. Let's see if we hit our second take profit. Oh, getting closer. Closer, closer. Almost there. And boom. Amazing. So in this example, if we backtested this, we now know that we have one piece of data showing that this level of analysis, although it's brief, you can go greater into the analysis, that we have an example of our strategy that we have taken, and we've had success in the strategy. So it looks like we did a 2 to 1 risk to reward. Currently this trade equaled 8.3% profit. Amazing. So what you can do is you can journal this down. You can journal down your strategy if you'd like. Talk about breaks in structure. You can also, what I like to do is I'll use this camera button, and I will copy the chart image, and I'll take a snapshot and I'll put those in a journal, and I'll make notes on why that trade was successful. Also, I'll take my unsuccessful trades. So hopefully that was helpful for the first example of backtesting. We can now keep going, right? So the question you're going to want to ask yourself if you are continuing to backtest here, we'll shorten this down to show that that was that, is to find another setup. Well, this trend line can probably be adjusted, right? So now it's looking a little bit better. We have these touches, and we have this break of this trend line. So the question might be, does that mean that price might be going down to the bottom of this zone here? Still, I don't feel fully comfortable to see if this will be fully down to this low. And then if I look to this level of structure, it's really small. So I really don't like what I'm seeing here, but that's just me. And we can keep going. So you can keep playing out your bars until you find something that you would typically take a trade on. So let's see here, reversing. Still really no major structure broken here. A lot of volatility. Okay, so price has made it back above and onto this trend line, respecting that area of resistance. Can keep playing it out to see if I see anything that I like. Still don't like anything here. Okay, so maybe this is this is pretty close. We're not seeing too much here, but maybe we could say that since the price of Bitcoin has made above this structure again, we might see price go to the next zone. So let's go ahead and just check it out. Maybe we'll try a little trade here. and we might need to go to a lower time frame. This is a pretty small trade, but say we want to go long now. We want to go long on that break of structure. Here's going to be difficult. It looks like we could only really get a 1-to-1 risk to reward, but let's see if this plays out. So let's go long here. Almost there. Perfect. Well, look at that. Now, this is a different trade setup, of course, but maybe you're testing out a strategy on where you have levels of confluence, where you are entering a trade off the bounce of a trend line and a break above a new zone. Now, you may not be somebody who does 1-to-1 risk to reward. It's up to you. Some people are very successful at that. Some people do asymmetric risk to reward. It just matters your percentage of accuracy. And this backtesting will help you enhance your accuracy. So currently we have plus 8.3%. Then we have plus 5.29%. So we can now add these up in a profit and loss if we would like to. We can put down our risk to rewards as well. But what you want to do is keep following this out to see if you can continue to create strategies. So we can keep going. And hopefully everybody is enjoying how it's going here. So I now have a new level of structure. Price is still respecting that structure. We haven't broken this yet. But let's go ahead and plant another candle. Wow, look at that. So currently Bitcoin has broken above this major structure. It looks like we're hitting another area of resistance kind of right here. I might want to wait one more bar to see what's going on. I'm glad I did because we had a nice rejection right there. So let's keep playing it out. Okay, let's see if I can get something better for you. Okay, great. So now we have a clear break above even these two highs here. I might want to take a long position on Bitcoin to see if I can get to a new area, a new zone. So there's really not much territory here, so maybe I can go for a larger trade here. Maybe I'm looking to get up to this area here. Maybe I want to draw a Fibonacci from our swing highs to our swing lows here. See if we have an area we could potentially go to. Maybe that 618, maybe the 0.5. So let's go ahead and maybe draw a swing trade. This 0.618 area. Enter here. Probably bring it up to that candle here. Okay, so here we go. We almost have that 2-to-1 risk to reward, but let's see where we get to. Let's see if this one is successful. Delete this to make it clear, and we're going to use the forward button as well. Let's see if this trade plays out. Oh, sorry about that. I wanted to make a halfway mark as our TP1. Sorry about that. Okay, there we go. We have our TP1, our TP2. You can even write these down if you would like. And then you can start playing it out. So far, it looks like maybe our first take profit was a little bit too tight. We're back at a little bit below entry. But we did get that bounce up. Let's see where we get to. The trade right now seems to be potentially failing because now we're getting a new, we have lower highs now. So maybe this one is going to hit our stop loss. Oh, getting close. And stopped. So here would be an example where you could reevaluate, since this one got stopped, does this mean that our stop loss is too tight? Should we have maybe extended this trend line and brought our stop loss a little bit further down, maybe stick to that 1-to-1 risk to reward? We can keep playing it out. Hopefully we have enough bars here. Look at that. It looks like Bitcoin did respect that trend line, so we can maybe take a note that we need to be below our major trend lines, especially for a swing trade. It looks like Bitcoin has recovered. Look at that. So if we would have just lowered our stop loss, we would have actually been able to hit that take profit 1 mark, or really, really close to it. I probably would have taken profit there, even if it didn't hit exactly. So, and maybe you would want to take full profit, because hopefully we have enough bars, because maybe this will stop itself out. I don't think we do yet. Nope. So that brings us to our current price data, but hopefully that gave you an idea on creating a trade, and if it gets stopped out, how you can start to learn from that. So hopefully you're getting a good idea about backtesting. You definitely want to know your strategy. You can also use this go to here, and you can just go to a random date in time. So you want to go a year ago in January, say January 1st, I can click go to, and then I get sent to a specific area in Bitcoin. And say you want to now start at a new area, you can break off the current price action and then start doing your exact same thing. You'll start marking up your support, your resistance lines, however your strategy is. It could be indicators. You know, you might have something like, let's see, your RSI you might use, whatever it is. But I am typically not so much an indicator trader. And then you can start working out your strategy. Say you want to start entering trades when either this structure below or above is broken. Start playing out price. Wait until you see a major breakout in structure. Look at that, pretty major right there. And that's actually a break and a retest. So maybe we want to get in on the retest. And we don't really have any areas to show us where to put the take profits. Maybe you have a percentage goal. Maybe you want to make sure you get say 5%. So maybe we can put 5% as your first take profit. Maybe we can put 10% as your second take profit. So let's go to that 5. Put it right there. Let's go to 10. Put it right there. And then we want our risk to reward. Let's see. Maybe just right below the structure. Probably would like more, but hey, this might be the best you can get right now. So let's go ahead and play. Let's see how this trade would play out. Look at that. We got our 5% and we got our 10%. Very awesome. Just by a little break and retest of a consolidation zone. So hopefully that was helpful in backtesting. You can really do this over and over and over again. I think backtesting daily is one of the most impactful things that you can do for your trading strategy. Some people backtest a half an hour a day, an hour a day, and really it can be super helpful. Some people do, say, 5 or 10 trades per day and test them out. Some people do 20. Some people will try to backtest the entire asset class's history, but truly I believe backtesting is one of the most impactful things that you can do to actually test your strategy, learn about your asset class, master it, because often price pairs, they move in certain ways. They have certain feels to them. And if you can understand your asset class, say it's Bitcoin, and back test it over and over and over again, you really get to understand how it moves. So I hope you enjoyed this video on how to backtest. This really changed the game in my strategy, so I hope it changes the game in your strategy.